There are refugees and asylees that had waited decades to get to this country from war-torn parts of the world, and they literally had their flights canceled the last 2 weeks, while Donald Trump is sitting in the Oval Office and offering millionaire oligarchs a free ride into America with his gold visa program. And my colleagues across the aisle are producing TV ads to try to pretend that they're making this country safe again. It's total bullshit.
Now that's the energy I've been talking about. That's the energy that I've been talking about. She also is one of the ones who stood up and got out of the room during that awful, disgusting, ridiculous State of the Russian Union address. Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I always think that we should sage this room after these hearings because we hear a lot of crazy stuff in here. But let me start out by saying, mayors, welcome to our committee. Thank you for serving your cities and your people. I have to say, as also an elected official, you have the hardest job in America. There is no job harder than being a mayor of a major city. So thank you for serving your constituents. And I want to take this opportunity to especially acknowledge Mayor Wu, because not only are you the first woman to ever serve the city of Boston, if y'all haven't been watching, she is also the mother of a newborn who is here with her. She has a 7-week-old baby, and she showed up to testify and be yelled at by our colleagues for 4 hours. So I say to you, Mayor Wu, may your daughter grow up to be a fierce leader like you.
Thank you.
Now, I want to reject the fundamental premise of this hearing, because what this entire effort is about is intimidating state and local officials, attacking law-abiding immigrant families, and spending millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars, both in the administration and in Congress, to make ads that are complete smoke and mirrors, trying to say that Donald Trump has somehow secured America's safety. What they are doing is not making America safer. In fact, it's a total and complete lie, because Donald Trump has failed to actually even secure the border. He's failed to stop illicit drugs like fentanyl from crossing the border. He's failed to secure sufficient staffing and technology to stop human trafficking and illicit drugs from crossing the border. He's failed to support local law enforcement and behavioral health programs to address the issues that are affecting our communities. And he's failed to even execute on the most basic thing that he said he would do, which was to pass immigration reform when he got into office. Here we are, Donald Trump. Where's your immigration bill? Oh, wait, you don't have one. That's right. Because none of this is actually about making America safer. In fact, all of this is making America weaker. He's dismantling our federal law enforcement that would actually go after cartels and drug traffickers. Over the last 6 weeks, Donald Trump has taken out the most senior FBI officials and the officials in our U.S. attorney's offices that were actually prosecuting the cases against the drug cartels. Donald Trump took out the law enforcement that were prosecuting those cases. So let's be real about that. He froze federal law enforcement funds all across the country. I have tribes in my district that still haven't had their DOJ grants reinstated. Let's be real about what's going on here. He's frozen funds to refugee resettlement and other immigrants groups permanently who have outstanding receipts. There are refugees and asylees that had waited decades to get to this country from war-torn parts of the world, and they literally had their flights canceled the last 2 weeks, while Donald Trump is sitting in the Oval Office and offering millionaire oligarchs a free ride into America with his gold visa program. Is this really about making America safe again? Is that really what he's about? Is that really what my colleagues across the aisle are about? Because what I can tell you, as a representative from a great city, the city of Albuquerque, a border state, is that we know what makes our communities safer. It means we stop drugs from coming into our country and our communities. It means that we support and we fund our law enforcement. It means that we fund our behavioral health system. It means that we support our mayors, our tribal leaders, and our state officials. It means that we invest in them. It does not mean that we drag them in front of Congress for 4 hours. We yell at them. We tell them we're going to give them criminal referrals. The DOJ is intimidating our mayors. And my colleagues across the aisle are producing TV ads to try to pretend that they're making this country safe again. It's total bullshit. Absolute bullshit. They are not making America safer again. And what they are doing is terrorizing immigrant families. That is what they are doing. Parents who are afraid to send their kids to school, parents who are afraid that they won't come home again, kids who are afraid to leave their houses, refugees who have waited for years to come into this country. And our mayors are sitting here enduring this ridiculous hearing as they've been threatened in front of the American people. And so I will say, in the words of my sister in the front row who brought forward the words of one of our faith leaders just a few days ago on the House floor, I hope that my colleagues across the aisle, who I can tell, most of whom come from immigrant stock, will have the same mercy that our ancestors had shown to them by this country so that you could sit here and be a congressperson.
Now that's the energy I've been talking about. That's the energy necessary. That's the energy, the truth. A little bit of cussing every now and then. I don't like that she had to read it, but that's better than doing nothing, because at least she made sure she had all the facts in there, the truth in there, what's being cut, what's being taken from you, the people, from we, the people. That's the energy that we're talking about. It turns out that the great Congresswoman, Melanie Stansbury, she was one of those ones who walked out. Now let's get some galvanization. Now let's put it together, Democrats. And the rest of us, we're going to make sure that we march. We're going to make sure that we call. We're going to make sure that we're at their doorsteps. We're going to make sure that they're afraid of us. That's the power we have. We are millions. They are hundreds. They should be scared as hell every time they walk to their car and can't drive off because people are blocking the way. Every time they drive into the Capitol and they can't get through the crowds of people holding signs saying, "You will not take our veterans affairs. You will not take our benefits." They should be wondering, where is the next group of people with picket signs coming from? And should be thankful that we're peaceful while we're doing it, as long as that lasts. You see, with more people like Stansbury, Melanie Stansbury, Jasmine Crockett, AOC, leading the way, leading the marches, and the rest of you bum-ass Democrats get behind them instead of the old farts that are screaming business as usual. The more of you get behind them, the more of you start cussing a little bit more, start showing that you care, the more of us will show up to back you up, because we are legion. We are millions. There are millions of us. That was the whole point of the democracy of peaceful protest. Republicans are scared. They're scared. That's why they bow and bend the knee to a dictator, because they're scared. Our job is to make them more scared of us than they are of Trump. Let them find out that reversing out of their parking place requires help from the police, because there's just too many of us asking questions with picket signs. And let them wonder how long that peaceful protest is going to last. We got new drops. New drops from the Sharpie of resistance. Oh yeah, he's back. We got new drops. We're supposed to have one last Monday. Get ready. the resistance is on.
I'm not against any of those types of religions or anything, but they can be kind of pushy, and this stuff is. But from a nerdy perspective of the idea that they're trying to make you believe that we're in this moment where we can create this new government, new world, and everybody can have this dream community of other people just like them, and all the sweet talking. And really, what he's talking about is segregation. It's a real thing in the power of symbolism. There's like white supremacism, got Nazism, the idea of Mars, global warming. You can gather clusters of people together under those things, and you create unifying messages, right? Sig Heil and white power, and so you can use that for anything. You can say, we're going to fight corruption. You can just bucket anything you want under that, and you can get everybody lined up. This simple word, and you can create kind of unifying goals that you're going to do with the people that you've clustered, right?
Follow us on all these things you see here, and our link tree is in the description. Maybe even get some merch.